Exorcist priests reveal the most dangerous demons. During an exorcism in 1973, a priest in Germany reported that the voice coming out of a young woman's mouth claimed to be no less than Judas Iscariot. He was not the only one. Reports of exorcist priests over the centuries mention recurring names of entities that were presented as powerful and cunning evil forces. Some of these names appear repeatedly in exorcism rituals, frightening even the most experienced in the craft. What are the most dangerous demons, according to the exorcist priests? What makes them so feared? In this video, you will meet the spirits that challenge even the most prepared in the fight against evil. First, Valak, the Great Deceiver. If you've heard of Valak, it's probably because of the movie The Nun. But the reality behind that name is even more disturbing. Reports of exorcists describe Valak as an extremely cunning demon, which often manifests itself as a child presence to deceive their victims. He is cited in the medieval grimoire Lemegeton as a great president of hell, commanding legions of evil spirits. Exorcist priests warn that Valak rarely attacks directly. Instead, he infiltrates people's minds, sowing doubt, illusions, and despair. There are documented cases where victims of possession under the influence of this demon have reported vivid dreams with a lost child asking for help, a trick to attract the most vulnerable. During exorcism rituals, Valak resists with a frightening ability of manipulation. According to Father Vincent Lampert, an American exorcist, this type of entity not only speaks with the voice of the possessed but can imitate loved ones to try destabilize the present. Its greatest danger is not in its strength, but in the subtle way it infiltrates, making it difficult to perceive its influence before it's too late. Second, Pazuzu, the Lord of the Winds. If the name Pazuzu sounds familiar, it is perhaps because he was the main demon portrayed in the classic The Exorcist, 1973. But this evil spirit is not a Hollywood invention. Of Mesopotamian origin, Pazuzu was feared by ancient peoples as the one responsible for plagues, famine, and natural disasters. He is depicted with a humanoid body, wings, claws, and a grotesque horned head, a figure that has inspired fear for millennia. Exorcist priests report that, unlike demons who act in a subtle way, Pazuzu manifests himself in an aggressive manner. Attributed possessions to it usually involve extreme violence, physical attacks, self-mutilation, and a superhuman resistance of the possessed person. A famous case occurred in the 1980s, when an Italian exorcist stated that the victim, a 20-year-old young man, levitated and threw furniture around the room before being released after days of intense rituals. Pazuzu has a unique characteristic. He makes fun of the exorcists. Reports say that he insults, laughs, and even simulates prayers to make fun of those present, trying to demoralize them. The Vatican recognizes this type of behavior in documented cases of exorcism, reinforcing the need for experienced and prepared priests to face entities of this nature. Third, Baal, the Prince of Darkness. Among the demons most feared by exorcists, Baal occupies a special place. Referenced in biblical texts and occult grimoires, he is described as one of the main infernal leaders, wielding power over legions of evil spirits. According to the Lemegeton, or Minor Key of Solomon, Baal can manifest in different ways, often being depicted with multiple human heads, of frog and cat, symbolizing their ability to deceive and confuse. Exorcists claim that Baal is one of the most difficult demons to drive out, because he acts as a strategist. He does not manifest himself immediately, but works slowly to weaken his victim, instilling thoughts of pride, arrogance, and disbelief. Reports indicate that people influenced by this entity become excessively manipulative and resistant to the faith, as if they were led to see themselves superior to everything and everyone. During exorcisms, Baal stands out for his coldness. Unlike other demons who scream and struggle, he prefers a calculated behavior, responding to the rituals with sarcasm and attempts to demoralize the priest. There are documented cases where he refuses to reveal his name, making the exorcism much longer and more exhaustive. For experts in the field, their greatest weapon is not violence, but the subtle and progressive corruption of the human mind. Fourth, Asmodeus, the demon of lust and obsession. Among the demons most mentioned in exorcisms, Asmodeus stands out for his connection with vices, uncontrollable desires, and destruction of relationships. He appears in the Book of Tobias, a biblical text, as responsible for killing successive husbands of a woman named Sarah, preventing her from finding happiness in marriage. In ancient grimoires, Asmodeus is described as an evil spirit that incites lasciviousness, sickening jealousy, and extreme possessiveness. Exorcists report that victims under their influence often suffer from obsessive thoughts and self-destructive behaviors. Some develop uncontrollable compulsions, either for worldly pleasures or for absolute control over others. A famous case, recorded by a Spanish exorcist, involved a man who, after experiencing drastic changes in mood and violent behavior, claimed to hear voices urging him to destroy everything he loved. During the exorcism, the entity revealed itself as Asmodeus, resisting expulsion for days. Unlike other demons who use brute force or psychological terror, Asmodeus works on internal destruction by taking his victims to get lost in a cycle of desire and repentance. Many exorcists warn that it is especially dangerous because its influences can be confused with common emotional problems, making it difficult to identify their presence before the damage is irreversible. Fifth, Lucifer, the king of rebellion. Among all the demons mentioned by exorcists, Lucifer is considered the most dangerous. He is not just an ordinary evil spirit, but he who, according to Christian tradition, directly challenged God and was cast out of heaven. Unlike other demons working in the shadow, Lucifer presents himself as a being of absolute pride, trying to convince that his vision is superior to the Creator. Exorcist priests report that, in extreme cases of possession, the entity that manifests itself declares itself as Lucifer himself. Father Gabriel Amorth, one of the most renowned exorcists in the Vatican, claimed to have faced cases like this, where the voice of the entity sounded cold and imposing, rejecting any religious authority. The danger of Lucifer is not only in his strength, but in his ability to seduce. He does not need to attack with shouting or violence, because he convinces his victims to reject everything that they previously considered sacred. During exorcisms, he shows a total contempt for prayers, even mocking the priests and challenging their faith. In a shocking account, an exorcist revealed that when pressed, the entity declared, "You will never beat him because he has already chosen me." This kind of resistance makes expulsion extremely difficult and exhausting. Many exorcists warn that Lucifer rarely manifests himself in direct possessions. Its power lies in large-scale corruption, influencing ideologies, power structures, and the human heart itself. That is why his presence is considered the most feared. He does not must act alone to cause destruction. The exorcist priests who deal with these cases claim that the real danger of demons is not only in spectacular manifestations, but in the subtle way that they can influence the world and people over time. Names like Valak, Pazuzu, Baal, Asmodeus, and Lucifer appear repeatedly in the rituals of exorcism, challenging the faith and resistance of the most experienced. Although many question the veracity of these reports, the Church continues to train exorcists to deal with these forces, following strict protocols and thorough investigations. Whether these entities are real or the result of ancient beliefs and myths, the fact is that their names have crossed centuries, leaving traces of fear and mystery. And you, had heard of these demons? Do you believe that these forces really exist? Leave your opinion in the comments, like and subscribe to the channel.